an
And also
entertainer.
the voice was so unique.
He was very unique. Yeah. Who
So
thought
unique.
that? But just by having that growl, you could
Yeah.
actually get people to be attracted to your music. That's what he brought to the table.
He brought to the, and many, and also his way of writing
Yeah.
was very good, because he could
Yeah.
do the gangster and he could do the religious hit.
Yeah.
Pray in his songs.
I think
God, give me a sign.
Yeah, I think that came out when he got saved, and it
Yeah.
was I think it was in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
When he found that he could do both. He could go to the gospel, give thanks to God, whilst still use his artistry in the clubs.
He was fantastic.
He was a good guy.
He was good. I always remember him when I was growing up in the sleepy village of Remuru.
Sleepy village of Lemur.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the people of Lemur.
Shout out to my guy.
I don't think that you guys are asleep, but
No, I love Lemuru, man. He's my hood, man.
fair
I like
enough.
the
Fair
place.
enough.
But now they know.
Right.
There's the issue. Something happened this weekend. Something very.
Tell me about it, CEO.
Members of the family were traveling towards Nakuru, somewhere in Solai.
Yeah.
And there were around 16 in a matatu, and all of them.
All family members in one
13 of them
passenger vehicle.
perished. Yeah,
Right.
perished in that Nissan.
That's very unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. It's uncalled for, because we cannot be losing so many people on our roads because of negligence, carelessness, and impatience. I don't know what you think of this accident that has left the country stunned.
Listen, first of all, our condolences here from SpiceFM to those afflicted by this horrific accident. We hope that you get strength from God to carry you through this solemn moments. In that being said, I think that, someone is responsible for this, and it's someone who's reckless, and it's someone who shouldn't probably have been on the roads. This is someone who should not have been driving this passenger vehicle, and someone who's probably unqualified to be on the roads. And it's one of those things, CEO, where we do want to, point a finger and say that the driver was reckless. But I would go as far as to say this is a systemic issue on our roads. There's a period where, Michuki came along and he was very strict, and we kind of need someone as strict as Michuki to come back and reinforce good driving etiquette. And the problem that I have realized, CEO, is that we have this trend where our young drivers who are conductors decide that they want to graduate and become drivers.
Yeah.
And instead of going to a driving school, they ask the driver to teach them.
They
and
give
so
him squads.
Yeah, give acha niende squad moja.
Yeah.
Unaona, acha niende squad moja, and then as soon as he knows how to drive,
He's on the road.
he's on the road. But there is a lot of elements and there is a lot of aspects when it comes to driving that ensure safety of other motorists and ensure safety of the driver himself and the passengers. And the problem is that now that young matatu conductor who has now graduated to become a driver doesn't go to driving school. And through a duplicitous means, he gets the driving license, and now unampeleka Nakuru. He starts, he calls himself a qualified driver. That is the problem that we have. The problem that we have is that we do not have checks and balances of accountability when we are vetting who is on that driver's seat, especially when it comes to these matatu passengers vehicles. All right, we need to have a more rigorous vetting process.
Yeah.
And the problem is that at the moment we just don't have that.
And also a country which, and I agree with you, a country which does not take care of its transport system.
Yes.
The biggest problem with such countries is accidents. Because you look at the Western world, the most controlled system.
Oh, it's very
is the
strict.
Transport.
Oh my God, it's very, very strict.
Because you think this is where you transport your population.
Yeah.
They go to work, they go to meet to build the economy.
Yeah.
So it has to be in the control of the government.
It
the
has to be in the
government
control of the government.
It must be.
Yeah, and you know what? There is this discussion of how far can a government go, and the government does become involved in our lives especially, the only place where the government is actually allowed to violate our rights is when they enforce things like traffic rules.
Yes.
They enforce wearing safety belts, because that is where the government says, all right, we are trying to protect your life. And we are seeing a government that is a little bit becoming more delinquent on those responsibilities, which you have said in the West, it's very strict, man.
Strict.
You do something silly on the road, people will call the cops, and the cops can be relied upon not to just stop you and get a fine or a hongo out of you, but also to enforce the penal codes of traffic violations. So, for example, if you go to, I remember when I was a very young man, I traveled to Bangkok, and I went to near the border of Bangkok and Laos, and I got arrested there. It was a minor traffic infraction because I was not wearing a safety belt, because I had leased a vehicle and I was driving, and the cops gave me a fine, and I think it was about $100 or something of the sort. But when we come to our system, is like we don't have a system that enforces, or rather tries to deter people from these violations, which should be the ultimate point of police officers being on our roads, is to ensure that, not just to remind you that you have done something wrong, right, that you have violated traffic rules, but also to give you a ticket as a deterrent, and to show other people that ukileta ujinga kwa barabara tutakufine. But that system is non-existent in Kenya, or if it is existent, then it's obviously corrupt, and that's what caused this accident, is because we have so many incompetent drivers. I have to say that.
Yeah, very many.
It is a harsh thing to say.
Yeah, but incompetent
drivers. Tufalafala huku tulifundishwa inaitwanga driving school muitu.
You are just given a car, just try.
So long as you can, so long as you can make the car move forward and you can do reverse, then that's it. You're qualified drivers.
But you remember the way they are, and by the way, remember that these things happen even these places you go around here in town. You find people who train people to drive. They're not qualified.
They're not qualified
in the fields in Eastland.
They're not qualified.
In Kariobangi, if you go to the matatu industry, so there are so many drivers who do not get their documents correctly.
Exactly. And there are so many so-called institutions, nani institutions muitu, driving school muitu, where you have your uncle knew how to drive, kwa hivyo he's channeling and then he shows you how to drive. That should not be the case, because it is going to be adversely affect the lives of many Kenyans who are just trying to get from one place to the other.
I think it's very unfortunate for a family to lose.
And you actually had raised a very poignant point, CEO.
Yeah.
The issue of that family traveling all together in one road. What was your take on that?
You see, naturally, I always believe that as a family, try to get other alternative means of transport, because
don't you think that's a little bit superstitious?
It is superstitious, but remember that if these families were not going to pick one another because of one driver who is careless, who is not well trained, all of them are perished.
See, but the things here, you need to understand.
Ducks,
listen, CEO, when these things happen, unfortunately, and this is something that we have to take into account. It's not like they had a clue that this driver was going to be either drunk or incompetent, or just doesn't have the experience of being a qualified passenger driver. Because I think that when we are putting these people to transport cargo, or it's the same thing. When we are flying from one place to the other, you expect, right, that the pilot is qualified. He has done his 10,000 hours of practice, and he's qualified. I think we should have a similar rigor and vetting process when it comes to our drivers.
I agree,
especially
100%.
when it comes to our passenger drivers. And so, listen, it is unfortunate. I'm not sure I can lean in towards the superstition of when we are traveling to Mombasa. I'm not sure I'm that superstitious, although there is some merits to what you're saying. But I think basically what we should do is try and have the government get involved in ensuring that we have safe roads through safe drivers, competent drivers.
I think you've captured it very well. And since we are talking about road safety, incompetent drivers, let me give you a traffic update quickly before we go to news. Kenyatta Avenue, jam-packed. If you're on the Kenyatta Avenue, both sides is jam-packed. I think it's because of that construction around going up towards Valley Road there, around around Serena Hotel. Ngong Road, away up from Haile Selassie Avenue is jam-packed already. Mombasa Road out of towards Standard Group Center here, there's a bit of jam on both sides of the road. Lusaka Road, there's a lot of traffic building up. CBD Memorial Bomb Blast area, there's a lot of traffic. GPO area, the traffic is building up. Near Stega Driving School in the CBD, there's a lot of traffic around there as well. So if you're traveling in the city, please use alternative routes. Thika Road is building, but it's still okay right now. You can travel. It's SpiceFM 94.4. When we come back, we give you a shout out. I've seen many people who are writing to us and telling us what you're thinking of our stories this afternoon. Keep listening.